After I told my coworker that the authentic Chinese food she loved actually contained MSG, she flipped out, claimed she was sick, and now I have a meeting with HR. I work with someone I'll call Trish, who has a strong preference for authentic cuisine from various countries and an aversion to what she deems fake food. For example, she refuses to eat Domino's pizza, claiming that real Italians would never eat anything like that. Trish also insists that she has an allergy to MSG. There's a Chinese restaurant nearby, but we haven't ordered from them in over a year since she made a big scene about getting stomach pains and headaches after we catered from there. Even though she had ordered a simple dish of steamed vegetables and meat, she argued that there must have been cross-contamination and demanded that we stop catering from that restaurant. Whenever anyone orders Chinese takeout, she loudly criticizes it as fake, Americanized Chinese food and warns us that MSG will give us cancer. She constantly talks about how much she misses the real Chinese food she had during her one trip to China, which happened about 10 years ago. Trish also frequently comments on the food I bring from home. I'm Chinese, making remarks like, "Wow, that smells amazing, you can tell it's real and doesn't have preservatives like the food from that restaurant," despite the fact that she's white. I usually just ignore her remarks. Honestly, I wouldn't even describe my cooking as particularly authentic Chinese food, it's just stir-fried dishes with sauce most of the time. Last week, I volunteered to cook for my team of 6 people. Just to be clear, Trish isn't part of this team, as I know they enjoy the food I make. I occasionally use MSG in my cooking. It's not something every Chinese person does, but my family uses it in certain dishes because it enhances the flavor. There were leftovers after the meeting, which someone placed in the fridge with a note saying anyone was welcome to have some. I didn't give it much thought, since this is pretty standard in our office. As it turns out, Trish ended up eating some of the food I had made. At the end of the day, she came by my desk to rave about how good my real Chinese food was. She said she could tell I hadn't used preservatives or MSG, because if she had eaten MSG, she would have felt sick almost immediately. She even mentioned that it reminded her of the food she had in Beijing during her trip, though I'm not even from Beijing. After listening to her go on for a while, I eventually told her that I had, in fact, used MSG in a couple of the dishes. I added that it seemed like her MSG allergy had been cured since she didn't get sick, which I was happy to hear because I wouldn't want her to fall ill. She immediately flipped out, claiming she suddenly had a massive headache and felt like she was going to vomit. She yelled at me for not telling her the food contained MSG. I explained that I hadn't expected her to eat it, since it was meant for my team and she rarely touches the communal food. Trish went to HR, accusing me of tricking her into consuming something she's allergic to. Now I have a meeting with HR next week, and I have no idea how it's going to turn out. To be honest, maybe I did want to challenge her anti-MSG crusade a bit, but if she had simply asked, I would have told her exactly what was in the food.